Hey homies, today's practice is going to focus on heart openers. You might also use the term backbending or front extensions. So the energetic around these types of postures, why we would maybe want to do them, is because they open up the heart. They open up our seat for compassion and love, gentle loving kindness, or ahimsa you might say, as well as forgiveness. So all qualities that probably we can all work on using more of in our lives. So let's start in a comfortable seat. Any seat that you prefer is fine. It could be cross-legged or not. Bring your hands to rest towards the knees. Let your feet and legs be active, your bottom pressing down so your heart lifts up. So already what might just be considered neutral may already feel really open and possibly vulnerable, especially if you're used to slouching. If you have a desk job or computer that you're always sitting behind, you always kind of have this tendency for the shoulders to round forward. Just finding neutral space is going to feel very expansive. So just be willing to observe what comes up when working with this area without any attachment to it. Let your breath start to slow down. Maybe on each exhale, see if the shoulders can move a little further away from the ears. You might also consider each exhale as a moment for something that's protecting the heart to surrender and fall away. Let's take one more deep breath in here. And exhale out. Allow your eyes to open. If you are sitting cross-legged, go ahead and switch the cross of your feet. If you're sitting more symmetrical, then you can just stay. We're going to take the hands and interlace them behind. So you can see here, I'm just interlacing the fingers, bringing the palms together to touch, and then seeing if maybe the elbows can straighten, and then maybe the hands can lift. I'm not trying to exaggerate anything, so from the side, if you see, my spine is neutral without the hand gesture. And then if I do add the arms, I still don't want anything to change about the spine. So I don't want to tip forward to try to get the hands up. I also don't want to, rather than tipping forward, I also don't want to pop the rib cage in this exaggerated way. So I want this integration from the tops of the hips and the low ribs. And then wherever I get with the arms, I'll just have to be content with. And then bring those hands down. We'll switch. So take the opposite thumb and forefinger in front. And then palms together. Maybe they straighten. Maybe they lift. Again, nothing major happening with the spine. It's still pretty much just neutral. Just starting to open up the pecs across the front. If you think about squeezing your shoulder blades together in the back, you might find a little more openness across the front. Take one more breath. And exhale the elbows and hands lifted. Go ahead, bring them down. Bend the elbows, and then let's shake that out. All right, from here, let's come to all fours. And this all fours position, we call it tabletop. You'll have the hips over the knees and the hands underneath the shoulders. So I want to press down. So the point of contact with the mat in this case would be the tops of my toes, tops of my feet, shins and knees. That's all pressing down, as well as my two hands. What it might look like if I'm not pressing down, I'm kind of just sinking, it would be like this. And you can probably tell in my body that it's just collapsed, it's not integrated. So again, really push the ground away. That gives your shape some structure, some sthira, as we might say in yoga. So my tailbone's pulling back. My heart's moving forward, the top of the head is following the heart. So really, it's just the same spine that we had seated. Now I'm going to consciously change that with the integration of the hands and legs here, keeping me safe. So I'm going to start to inhale, tip the tailbone, move the heart forward and look up. And then exhale, again maintaining, pressing down, hands and arms. I'm going to round the spine, tuck the chin in, and pull the center of the spine up. Inhale, I come through neutral, tailbone tips high, the heart pulls forward, I look up. And exhale, round, draw the chin in, and the pubic bone under. Go again, inhale, look up. Exhale, round. Inhale, look up. And exhale, round. And then bring your spine to neutral. Take your right foot outside your right hand. Yeah, and you can stay on palms, or you might prefer coming up onto fingertips. If you have yoga blocks and you want to place your hands on a yoga block, that's fine. So I'm going to turn to face you, and then I'm going to actually end up being your mirror. So we have the right foot outside the right hand. I'm going to move my left hand over, and I'm going to turn my right toes out. This left hip, I mean really both hips, but I'm going to start to feel some extension across the front of my left hip as I settle the hips or shift the hips forward. And then my right hand can come inside the knee, and I'm going to gently press the knee away from my heart, so I'm leaning back. Now when I come out of this, I'm going to bring myself back to neutral from my belly. I'm going to pull the belly button back. That's going to start to bring the hips back. The toes can come forward, and then both hands here. So you can stay right here. You might have room to come lower to your forearms. If you find that when you lower, only your outside arm gets down, and this one's still up, I want you to be level. So bring that low one up to meet the higher one. And then again, work on being content. Work on filling yourself with compassion. Again, quality associated with heart space. And know that maybe you might eventually get down, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Hate to break it to you. All right, so forearms are down. Go ahead, bring it up, and bring that right foot around to the back. And then we'll go second side, so it'll be left foot coming around the outside of the left hand. If you find that's too much, come up onto your fingertips and or use a yoga block. So I'm going to move the left toes out. And if my hand was on yoga blocks, I might move it over to the side a little bit. Yeah. And if my palm's down, my palm's down. So left hand inside the knee here. I'm going to press the knee away from my heart and lean back. And I can just breathe into this heart space and also breathe into the front of the hip. Because we call them back bends, we sometimes don't realize the importance of the amount of openness we have in the front of the hips when we do said back bends, heart openers, front extensions, whatever you want to call them. Take one more deep breath in. Keep pushing the ground away. And then as you exhale, initiate from the belly button to draw the spine to neutral. Toes can come forward. I'm setting the hand to the inside of the foot. And if this is enough, you stay high. If you have more room, elbows can lower. If you do have that yoga block, you could put your forearms on the yoga block. Otherwise, maybe forearms come down. But if you're slanting, if one arm is down but not the other, go ahead and bring that low one up to meet the higher one. All right, and then if the elbows are low, go ahead, bring them up. Take that foot around to the back. And then just move your hips side to side. And then turn to face the side. All right, from our tabletop position, go ahead, tuck your toes. And we'll come into downward facing dog pose, bringing the tailbone high. If you need to have bent knees, bend those knees. Just think priority is the length of your spine. So I want that tailbone high. And again, it's really the same shape of the spine as in our first seat and in that tabletop position. So if you're finding that you're rounding here, your energy is moving forward, bend your knees more, tip your tailbone higher, and then rib cage towards thighs. All right. And then everyone bend your knees, look forward to your hands. You can hop, step, or just walk your way to the front of your mat. Once you're there, inhale, lengthen. You can bring your hands to your shins or to your thighs. Exhale, fold forward. And then inhale, push those feet down. Rise all the way up, palms touch. And then exhale, bring your hands to your bottom. Squeeze the elbows towards center. And then push the hips forward and lean the heart back. Doesn't have to be a huge movement. And then again, initiate from your belly, bringing yourself upright. Hands will come out in front, fingers interlace. Flip the hands, bend your knees, and then round forward as if you're making the letter C with your spine. And then press those legs straight, shoulders over, release those arms. And again, you can bring hands back to your bottom. If you want a little bit more, you can bring your hands to your hamstrings. We're going to lean back. How far you go is up to you. Wherever you end up, you want to make sure you're still breathing. Keep the legs active, pressing down and hugging in. Tailbone towards the heels. So this isn't coming from the lumbar spine. Inhale, bring yourself upright. Hands out in front, fingers interlace. Bend those knees, round forward. Try to hollow out the belly. Push those legs straight. We'll go one more round. Again, up to you if you want your hands at your bottom or at the hamstrings. Hug in, active feet. Heart space leans back. Definitely try not to drop your head back. That will not feel nice. My head's just an extension of the upper body. Inhale yourself upright. Hands come out in front. Flip the palms. Bend these round over. And then press those legs straight. Come upright. And release the hands. This time bring your hands right to heart. All right, so I'm going to take a big step back with my right foot. Stay high on the ball of the foot and press the ball of the foot down so that back knee can be as straight as possible. Keep the front knee over that front ankle. When that leg goes back, this leg might want to straighten, but I'm going to keep that bent. Yeah. Hands lift high, and then to the same spine that we had in our first seat. Tailbone was attached to the ground. Here, it's not attached, so I've got to concentrate on pulling that tailbone down, finding that integration at belly, that connection between the tops of the hips and the low ribs, so I'm not flaring my ribs out. If that means I keep my hands at my heart, just do that. Yeah? Otherwise, maybe hand. Good. And then bring your hands to center and step it forward. So we'll switch sides. I'm going to turn so you can see from another perspective, and I'll be your mirror. So left foot's going to go to the back. Front knee, right knee over ankle. Maybe hands here, maybe hands high. Integrate from center, neutral spine here. Back foot is pressing down strong so that knee can be straight. Good. Take a deep breath in. Long exhale out. Inhale. Exhale, bring that back foot forward. Nice. I'm going to go back to the top. You stay. All right. So right foot's going to step back again. Don't be afraid to take a big step back. Hug in towards center. Hands at heart. Maybe high. Bring your hands behind you. Fingers interlace. Palms touch. Think upper back going back. Tailbone staying down towards the ground as you lean back. How low you go will depend. Keep breathing. And then bring yourself back to center. And then fold to the inside of your front leg. Top of the head towards the ground. Maybe the hands release away from your back. Hug the inner thighs towards center. Keep the legs working strong, belly hugging up and in. Bring yourself upright. Soften the elbows. Release the arms. Step back to the front. Good. Second side. It'll be the left leg going back. I'm going to turn so you can see this from another perspective. Left leg to the back. Big step back. Get settled. Integrate. And then when you're ready, hands come behind. Do the opposite interlace of the fingers. Before you move, connect at your center. Then lean the heart space back. How much? Up to you. Think about everything you need, want, and love just falling right onto your heart. And then initiate from center, spine to neutral, and then continue down to the inside of that front leg. Hands might move away from your back. Keep both legs working strong. Hug towards center and press down. Keep the legs active as you come up. Release the hands. And then big step back up to meet the front. Nice. Inhale, feet push down, arms go up, maybe an arc back. Exhale, bring yourself forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bow. I'm going to move so you can see from the side. Soften the knees. Plant your hands. You can hop, step, or walk back for plank pose. So plank's a push-up position. Push forward on the toes. Lower halfway, Chaturanga Dandasana. Roll over the toes. Keep the thighs and hips high, upward facing dog. And then pull from your belly. Hips high to the sky. Downward facing dog.
Now I'm going to roll forward into plank pose here. Think of water, think of a wave. Lift the heels and then undulate the spine forward so that the head's the last to come forward. Lower halfway. If halfway is not working, just lower to your belly. If you're in chaturanga, upward facing dog, if you're on your belly, it'll be cobra pose. Your thighs and your hips will be on the ground. And then either way, initiate from your belly, pulling yourself up, downward facing dog. Let's do one more. Undulate forward. Lower down. Up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. And then bring your knees down this time. Heels can stay high. Walk your hands back. Hands to your bottom, elbows squeeze. Similar to what we did standing. Hips push forward, lean the heart back. If you're not breathing, don't lean back so much. Pull from the belly, spine upright, and then set your hips down, pause in neutral. And then make your way up. Second round, hands to your bottom, elbows squeeze. You can do the same thing, or you can reach the hands for your heels. If the heels are too far, staying right here is perfectly okay. Keep breathing wherever you are. If your hands are on your heels, try not to let the hips move back. Keep the hips energetically moving forward. And then gently start to make your way back to neutral. Sit down, pause. And then one more round, come up. And you have three options now. Hands at your bottom, hands on the heels that are high, or you can untuck the toes and reach for the heels here. Head's following the heart, so I'm not just dropping my head back, yeah? Heart leans back, head follows, even if it's a small movement. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Good, and then slowly, consciously make your way up and sit down. And then child's pose, so if your heels are high, go ahead, untuck them. Bring your ankles and your knees together. Walk your hands forward and rest your head down. So this will feel nice as a contrast to all the back bending, the heart opening physically, but also energetically. You'll notice more quiet quality about this shape than those heart openers that are more energetic. So you can stay in that child's pose as long as you like. Also from there, you can make your way into Shavasana, which would just be laying on your back, right? The standard posture that we end class in. And take as much time as you need there. I hope as you move about the rest of your day that you're able to cultivate these qualities of compassion and love and forgiveness toward yourself first, and then it becomes more easily to do that to others. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Namaste.